Hi everyone and welcome. We're in my garden and I'm here to give you the weekly update. I guess let's start over here with these cantaloupes. The cantaloupe plant is really taken off. It's by far the largest plant in my garden. And the funny thing is that it was a totally unexpected plant that just popped out of the compost that I was using to plant my peppers. So the pepper was the intended item there, and then this cantaloupe just popped out next to it. And for that matter, similar plants popped out all over the place, all around the garden, but they all got covered up. But this one snuck through and started growing. And as of last week, we were looking at some of these cantaloupes that were about the size of my thumb. You can see here that they've gone well beyond that. This one back here, this yellow one, I don't know, it doesn't look too healthy. Might not be working out for that one, but you could see cantaloupes everywhere. Cantaloupe here, cantaloupe there, cantaloupe there. There are cantaloupes everywhere on this plant. But the most surprising one is the one down here. I didn't even notice this one. It just sort of started out of the blue, and it's surpassed all the others in size by a lot. And it's got some nice weight to it already, so I'm really interested to see what becomes of that one. And I think it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be something pretty impressive pretty soon. Probably a couple more weeks and it'll be ready to eat. Now the cucumbers are flowering everywhere. The cucumbers look really pretty with flowers all over the place, and the plants themselves are growing quite nicely. In fact, this one already has gotten to the point where it's even above this grate that I laid out here for it to grow on. But the one weird thing about these cucumbers is the fact that there's not even one cucumber growing yet, or at least not one that I've noticed. So I keep looking, I keep checking, and I keep sort of making minor adjustments on the plant to try to help guide it up the trellis that I put out here for it. But still, I see not one cucumber growing on it yet. And I wonder if that's even possible, that a plant would have so many flowers and never even produce one piece of fruit. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But it just starting to seem a little bit unusual to me that there's no cucumbers growing on this yet. Very unusual. So now this pepper right here, I believe, is the largest in the garden right now. The largest one that I had that was growing right over there on the neighboring plant was eaten a couple days ago. It was already starting to turn red. You know how peppers turn red when they've really ripened already. So I figured it was time to take that one and pull it out of the garden, eat it, and it was delicious. So the next biggest one is what's growing over here. But you can see peppers growing all over the place. Every plant has a nice bunch of peppers growing all over it. And I have been picking and eating them pretty regularly too, so that's the other reason you're gonna maybe not see quite as many as there could be. Oh, this is kind of funny too. We've been seeing rogue plants popping out all over the place out of my planters, and I just noticed this right here, a rogue tomato, a couple rogue tomatoes. There's always interesting things happening in my garden, weird little things that I didn't notice, so it's always a little bit of a surprise when I look carefully. You can see there's a bunch of crabgrass growing in here too. Don't want that in here. The idea here was flowers, but I guess the flowers have to share space with whatever else that pops out of the compost that I planted them with. Okay. Enough of the weeds. That's not what you came here to see. Let's move on. So now the majority of the peppers are all the same type, and they are spicy. They are hot peppers. But there are a couple over here that are a little bit different. And well, this would be a spicy pepper as well. These are jalapenos. And I believe this is the largest of them so far. This is the biggest pepper pod on this plant so far, which is not really so impressive quite yet. But I haven't had a chance to try anything off this plant yet. So at some point soon it might be time to pull a jalapeno, and this one I guess would be the first one to go. And hopefully it's good. But the peppers I'm seeing on this plant are actually kind of small compared to other jalapenos I've had in the past. And the plant itself seems a little flimsy too, so not sure why, but hopefully the peppers it produces are good. The only other kind of peppers I have are this one here, which is finally producing a pepper that looks halfway decent, even though it's a little bit small. And just beyond that are these other two plants here that have these little green peppers on them. And here's the other plant just like it. And I've actually had a couple of these, but I don't know, they're not a very meaty pepper. Just not a lot to eat on one of these things. So they're also not what I would consider to be a very impressive pepper. Oh man, quick little story. I went and prepared like a dish that required me to chop up like maybe 8 or 10 of these spicy peppers, and I didn't realize what I was in for. I mean, I cut with my right hand since I'm right-handed, but my left hand, this hand was burning all day long. Even about 12 hours later when I went to bed and I was lying there in bed, I could just feel my hand burning. So always be careful. If you're cutting peppers that are spicy, then always protect yourself. Either wear gloves or make sure you do a good strong cleaning after the fact, just to make sure you don't have any of those hot oils on your hands, because they'll hurt. They will, trust me. I'm telling you. Be careful. Finally, that leads us to tomatoes. The tomatoes are coming along. But like, for example, these first 4 plants, these are some sort of a tangerine tomato, and I have yet to see one of them ripen. So I don't even know exactly what it means that it's a tangerine tomato, but I'm very curious to see what they look like in terms of its color and its flavor. The little cherry plant back there, not much to see. I guess you could really see on the leaves of that one that the plant looks pretty thirsty. It's been a couple days since I watered, so I think tonight before I go to sleep, after the sun sets, I'll probably come out here with the hose and give these some water, because they're overdue for a watering. This plant's producing some pretty decent tomatoes. I've had a couple of them here and there, and they're pretty tasty. And it's producing quite a few tomatoes all the way up, going all the way up. Even up to here, there's already tomatoes up over my head. So it's quite a productive plant. And it was the first one to actually produce ripe tomatoes. These are some sort of an heirloom tomato, the ones where the shoulder stays a little bit green, which ain't bad, but this one's really got some strange malformed features to it, so I'm not sure what to expect. But at some point soon I think it's going to be time to take one of these off and try it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for these. These types of tomatoes, from what I understand, are pretty tasty. This one here also looks like it's finally changing some color. It's about time. The only other types of tomatoes we have back here are these beefsteak tomatoes. So these two here on the left are one type, and then these other two on the right are another type. But they're all 4 of them are some sort of a beefsteak tomato, and there is one of them over there that's finally ripening as well. The only other one that had ripened already and has been eaten was on this first plant, and that was a really delicious tomato. Really rich in color, nice big in size, very sweet and juicy. So I can't wait to see some more of those ready for eating. So that's about it for today. Hopefully you're enjoying these updates. If you are, then always remember to give me a thumbs up by liking my videos, and also consider signing up to be a subscriber to the channel. That's always appreciated as well. Alright everyone, have a great day. Bye.